Hey, 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 artists! Alright, this is Art with Mrs. Ariel! Alright, we are going to do a project called Animals with Attitude. It's going to focus on space and texture and animals with attitude. So, now, there's a couple things that are going to be going on with this project. One, I'm going to go over all of the information. Two, we're going to talk about all the different choices that you have. Three, I'm going to talk about the supplies and show you my example. And let's see, 4, we're going to look at other animals that have attitude. 5, we're going to talk about how to add this texture to the picture and the texture to the fur of the different animals. And we're going to need to talk about sunglasses and the finished product and the different supplies and the grading rubric, of course. Okay, so let's dive on in. First, let's talk about the supplies. Now, this project can be done with a slew of different supplies, meaning multiple different supplies can be used. There's no type of supply that you must use. So, when I did my example of my red panda. No, it's not a raccoon. Mr. Duncan said it looked like a raccoon, but it's a red panda. I used lots of different types of supplies, so it's almost like a mixed media project. And mixed media just means you're using multiple different types of media, and media is equivalent or equal to materials. So first, you're going to need your white piece of paper. You are going to need a pencil. I like to draw out my animal and my sunglasses and then my straight diagonal lines in pencil. You are going to need a black marker of some sort. I like to use permanent marker so it doesn't smudge as easily because you will be outlining all the pencil marks that you created. So I drew my red panda in pencil. I went over the pencil line with my black marker, and then afterwards I erased all the pencil marks that I did not need anymore because I had already traced it with the black Sharpie. You are going to need some coloring utensils. So I suggest you have at least 2 different types if you can. So like crayons or markers or colored pencils. You could even do the project with pastels. You could also do the project with paint. So there's lots of different ways in which you can do this project. But we are going to need to focus on multiple different things for the project. So if you're taking a look at my example, you'll notice that I have texture, right, within the animal's fur and face. I have my sunglasses, okay, and then I have a background. Now, when it comes to the background, you are required to do a background, whether it be like me where I split it up and I did fun, colorful patterns, or if you want to do right here, they've got like a city look in the background. Or maybe you want to draw the habitat that your animal with attitude lives in. So we've got this cow, and we did a little farm in the background. So I took the inspiration from this panda, the background, and I took the inspiration of the red panda, and I kind of combined the two to get my overall project. So you are going to have some choices. I am not going to be physically and visually guiding you through a step-by-step animal drawing, because you're going to need to pick an animal. So on the assignment page, and I will go over this again in a little bit, you will see some visual handouts that I put up for either you to watch while you are doing the project, or maybe you would like to print them out and have them by you. I like to print stuff out. I like to have it hands-on. So what will happen is you will start with pencil and a paper, and you're first going to draw the shape of the lenses, okay? Then you want to pick the contour line, so the pattern or the shape of the frames of the lenses, okay? And so there's this sheet that gives you some examples of the sunglasses. Of course, you can totally design your own. That's fine. I don't mind that. The inside of the sunglasses, I do want it to be black, so you do not need to draw the eyes. Then I have a couple different breakdown examples that I will walk you through. I'm not going to physically draw everything out and show you, but I will walk you through the steps, which you have the visual or the handout. The same handout is on the assignment page in Canvas for this project. So there's a cow, there's a panda, and then there's the red panda, which is the handout I looked at to get my example going. Alrighty, few more things before we get to the project and before you get to start the project. Okay, so let's talk about a coloring technique that I would like you all to use and try out. And that means you're going to be using different pressures when coloring with the crayon or whatever you have to give your work that dimension, that 3D element, and to have some texture within your work. So if you're looking at the example that I have a picture of on the assignment page, and then you're looking at my example, you'll see that I have different colors for my texture. So I like to do some layering, and I'm going to demonstrate how you could do that, okay? So say I am needing to do the fur, because your animal, whatever animal you choose to create, must include texture for the skin, the fur. If you're doing a reptile, right, they have some sort of patterning on the reptile as well. So if I'm here and I'm going to do this texture and color technique, it's always good to use pressure. So say I need to do my texture, I'm going to press down. I'm going to use like either short dotted lines or short broken lines. Sometimes I'll throw in a big one, and I'm going to want to spread it out, right? And I want to kind of make the fur go with the natural movement of your animal. So if you see the forehead, it's going up, but then I have some of them going curving off to the sides of the head. If we look further down, you'll see I've pushed them out, right, into this part of the fur. Another thing to do with this is, as you can see, I use multiple different colors. If you use the colors that your animal is and you put a couple different colors, like you mix it in, it's really going to improve the visual of your project and give it so much more detail and dimension. So now I've just used some pink and orange. And these were my darker colors in a way, and I did some pressure. I really pressed down. Now I'm going to pick a lighter version of the color, so maybe this peach color, and I will simply go over the area of the textured fur that I just created. But I'm not going to press super hard down with this color, as it's my fill-in color. So you'll see that on my example, I used red and orange, and then I used a lighter orange, and I simply colored over it to fill it in. So I actually ended up using 3 different colors, and that really gives you some dimension. Now, another way you can do this is you can combine 2 different types of materials. So the way I did it a different way is I actually used marker, and then I used crayon. And so that really gave it a 3-dimensional look as well, and it really helps things pop off the page. So for example, I could get my marker, and notice that if I used pink, I still used the other material was pink. So I'd get my marker, and I do my design, whatever, design you plan to do. And then I take my different material, which could be a crayon, a color pencil, or maybe you're able to paint, etc. And then you just, again, fill in that area with your fill-in color. So I've colored in the background, and my marker design still pops out, right? Okay. Lastly, you could even combine multiple elements of material. So say I do my marker, and then maybe I want to do a crayon in there, so I have my line of crayon. It's always a good idea to have some color choices, right, to really make things pop. Then maybe I'm going to end with a colored pencil, and then I will simply color in the remaining white spaces of that area. So now I have some more added detail, and I have included a super cool coloring technique. Really gives your picture a totally different element. All right. Okay, we're almost ready to begin. Right now, take a moment, go gather the supplies that you think you are planning to use. Make sure you definitely have a piece of white paper. You will be using it vertically, so straight up and down. Make sure you have 2 to 3 different types of coloring utensils, so they're your crayons, markers, colored pencils, oil pastels, paint, whatever you're planning on using. You have your eraser and your pencil and your black marker. I also used a ruler to do my straight lines there, so if you have a ruler or some kind of straight edge, you can totally grab that too. Once you have your supplies, come on back and we will talk about the next set of things. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have gathered all of your supplies. So a big thing you're focusing on in this project not only is your texture and your space, but also overlapping. And so remember, overlapping is placing the one object over another object to give it a sense of depth. So I got my eraser, and then I've placed my marker over it. I'm overlapping, putting one thing on top of the other. So like my sunglasses, they look, right? I've made the illusion that they're on top of the red panda. And so when you begin the assignment, when drawing any animal, whatever your choice animal is, you always need to begin with the sunglasses first. So you'll use your template if you need to get some ideas or come up with your own. You're going to want to make those sunglasses towards the middle of the paper or a little bit at the top, up to you. Okay, and then the animal with the sunglasses will help the sunglasses to appear like they're on the animal face. The overlapping will help give that illusion. All right. And when it comes to the background, I forgot to mention one other thing. So if you notice in the example, some of the animals actually have their bodies showing in the picture. So you are more than welcome to add the body component to the animal. Remember, you are going to be making it the size of the paper. So really look at how big you make it. We're not making a teeny tiny baby animal that you put in a random spot on the paper. You're making a very large representation of the animal, a very large picture. So the main focus would be the face, but you can go ahead and add, some pieces of the body popping off the page or going off the page if you'd like. Plus, you need to remember to design your background. You can do it, like I said, with the habitat, so the cow in the farm. The red panda, they played it off and put a cityscape. And then, of course, you can do the simple, like I did, where you have the patterns in the background. Okay? All right. Ready? Here we go. We're about to move on to the project. So when you're looking at the assignment page, you should see multiple images of different animals with attitude or animals with sunglasses on. I gave those as some ideas of different animals you can choose to do. Now, you can choose any animal you'd like, but you need to make sure that you have focused mainly on the face, right? And that you add the texture. You can't just turn in it without any texture. You must have the texture of the animal. Okay, so there's lots of different ideas. You can look at the ideas I have on the assignment, or you can find your own. And then, of course, right after this, if you would like, you can stick around for a little bit longer, and I will go through the different drawing guides that I have for you on the assignment page, and I will read and walk through them step by step if you want something more like that. So that would be the cow, the panda, and the red panda I'll go through. Otherwise, I have given you all of the information that you would need. So go ahead, gather your supplies, start your project. Look at the assignment if you need some more visuals or you need some help. Maybe you need to pop onto Google and find yourself, a different image if you didn't like any of the examples that I gave. Or stick around and I'm going to go through those different examples. At the very end, remember to review the grading rubric and make sure that you've added all of the different required components of the project. Do not turn something in that is not completed. All right? Make sure you have everything. You have your animal's face. You have your sunglasses. You've added your texture. You've used different colors with your texture. You have done some sort of background, and everything is complete. You have not left anything blank. So here on my panda would be white, but I'm not going to leave it white. I'm going to use gray and I'm going to lightly color over the area. Okay, remember you're doing some overlapping and you're doing some layering for the different patterns and textures, things like that in your project. All right. Alrighty. So this is the part I was talking about where I will go over the different drawing guides. And it's there for you to be listening and watching, reviewing as I'm going through the steps verbally. So I will talk the steps out, and then on your side, you can go ahead and draw them out. Remember, you can always pause the video and work on your assignment, as well as you can do the assignment in different chunks. So maybe you just start by drawing out the animal today, and then you come back a little bit later and you do the coloring part and the texture, and then you come back another time and you do the background. You can, of course, do this in one setting. That's fine. All right, let's begin. So grab that pencil, and you're going to want to pick the shape of the lens that you want to use for your sunglasses. So I chose this one, the flower one, but you can choose any of these examples, or you could even create your own sunglasses. That's fine. Somewhere towards the middle or the middle top of your paper, you're going to draw the shape of the lenses. So the lenses would be this black area. Go ahead and draw those. Next, you're going to add those frames. So draw a contour line around the lenses. Follow the original shape. Add the bridge to connect the lenses together and the small squares for the temples. Then you're going to color in the lenses black. All right, go ahead, add your sunglasses. The very first thing you should be drawing is the sunglasses. Then you will go ahead and add the animal. All right, here is the drawing breakdown for the red panda. Let's start with step number 1. Start with sunglasses already drawn near the middle of the paper. So you should have in the last step already drawn your sunglasses out in pencil. 2. Draw a large upside down U shape for the top of the head. So you're doing this line. Add 2 rounded ears and zigzag lines for the fur inside the ears. So you're adding those ears, the curve, and the zigzag line. Next, number 3. Draw a long, shallow U shape that starts near the bottom of the sunglasses on one side and extends past the sunglasses on the other side, this U shape. Number 4. Close off the cheek area with upturned zigzag lines. Number 5. Draw an upside down U shape from one side of the chin to another. Add an upside down triangle for a nose and 2 U shapes for a smiling mouth. Okay, so you're adding this area. Number 6, add zigzags above the sunglasses for tufts of hair near the eyebrows. Lastly, add a V shape from the sunglasses on each side for stripes. So we're adding this component and this component for our red panda. Now, the example does forget to mention that you should also include some whiskers, so go ahead and do that. Once you're done drawing your animal in pencil, grab that Sharpie, that black marker, go over your lines, then go ahead and grab your eraser and erase any pencil marks, okay? Next, I'm going to walk you through the drawing guide for the regular panda. Okay, here we go. Panda. Number 1, start with sunglasses already drawn near the middle of the paper. Draw a large upside down U shape for the top of the head. Add 2 rounded ears with a curved line in each. So you're adding the top elements. Number 3, Near the bottom of the paper, draw an upside-down triangle shape for the nose. Color that in black. Remember, at any time, you can pause the video. All right, number 4, add the mouth below the nose. Number 5, draw a curved line from underneath the sunglasses to each side of the nose. Also, add a U-shaped chin under the mouth. So you're adding these lines here and the chin. Number 6, start from the outside edge of the sunglasses and draw a shaggy zigzag line on each side to finish the head of the panda. So you're doing these lines. Now that was the drawing guide for the panda. And I have one more to go over. If you are going to do the cow, go ahead and stick around. We're going to go over the drawing guide of the cow. Okie dokie. Grab your pencil if you're doing the cow. Let's get ready. Number 1. Start with sunglasses that you should have already drawn near the middle of the paper. Number 2, draw lines that angle in toward each other and a flat forehead. So you have your diagonal lines and your flat forehead. Add 2 long ears that point toward the side. Add a tuft of hair on top, okay? And then you're going to add those curved lines in the middle sections of the ear. Number 3, near the bottom of the paper, draw a rectangle with curved edges. Number 4, inside the rectangle, draw a nose and a mouth. Remember, at any time you can pause the video. You don't need to be drawing as fast as I am going through the steps. You can pause, draw, and then restart. Number 5, finish the head by connecting the side of sunglasses with the bottom of the rectangle. So you're here. Number 6. Draw 2 lines from the top of the head to the sunglasses for a stripe on the head. Continue the line down to the rectangle. So you have your inner lines right there. Okie dokie. Now that is the last animal guided drawing I'm going to talk through. You need to go ahead and make sure you understand all of the information and what is expected of you. And then you can go ahead and start your project. Remember, you can choose what animal you would like to do. You can choose the sunglasses that you would like to do. Remember, don't forget about the background. Try to add elements that overlap to create a sense of depth. Get creative with your background. So remember, you could do the farm, you could do a city, you could do a landscape, you can do what I did where I did the really fun patterns. Then you need to do that coloring technique I showed you in the beginning. So using different pressures when coloring with your crayon, your marker, your colored pencil, and that's going to give you that dimension and the texture you need on your animal. First, you want to make sure that you press hard with a crayon or colored pencil, whatever it is that you're using, to create those texture lines on the animal's fur. Think about the direction that the fur would be on the animal. Next, use roughly the same color or a similar color to lightly color the rest of the fur. Don't be afraid to go right over the top of the texture lines you made. They will be bold and dark. Lastly, remember, when drawing the animal, any of the animals, always begin with the sunglasses first. Overlapping the animal with the sunglasses will help the sunglasses to appear like they are on the animal's face. Use the provided drawing guides that I just went through to draw the sunglasses first and then the animal of your choice. For an added challenge, try adding 2 of the animals to your artwork. That's just a challenge. Okay, remember, don't forget about the background and your textures. Color everything in. Please don't leave anything in blank. When you're all done with the project, remember to review the grading rubric, then take a clear picture or a clear video of the project and turn it in. I'm super excited to see what animals I'm going to get that have attitude. Don't forget to check the assignment page for some real-life animals with attitude examples. Have fun!